Yo, 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 what's up, y'all? It's your boy Mink Mike in the building. Big Mike, rather.
Mm.
Swish for real. Yeah, yeah. Boogie Bob, the real talk, Paul Miranda, and our special guest in the house, Big Ken. What's up with
Yeah.
Bob, throw your K's up. Throw your K's up.
you, Ken?
Another one. Another Kimball Knight on the bridge with us today, man.
Facts.
Yeah,
Yes, sir. We everywhere, man. I keep trying to tell you.
everywhere. Ken, man, how things on your side of the planet, man? How you doing?
Man, everything is lovely, man. I cannot complain at all, man. Learning something new every day because that's the thing we supposed to do in life. You know what I'm saying? Live and learn. And I'm definitely doing that each and every day, man. So I cannot complain at all.
Yes, sir. Paul, the real talk
Yes, sir.
nation. How you doing today, man? How things on your side of the planet?
Man, everything is everything right now, man. Things is looking good. Wifey's doing good. Oh Lord. Happy wife, happy life. Uh,
Yes.
so we get there in that department real quick. You know, got my you see my got my Obama flag and my what? My Cabo Verde flag flashing. We in here, baby. We in here.
Yes, sir.
I guess the question now is how you doing, brother? How are you today?
Well, let me ask Boogie Bob. Boogie, how
Oh,
you doing today,
oh.
man? How's things on your side of the planet?
Well, I got my big Ken shades on, and I got my twinning Swish for real. Welcome
Yes,
to
for
the
real.
fourth year of Swish for real, big Ken.
Big
Yeah.
foe, big foe. Yes, sir. Good deal, good deal. And yes, if you guys want to know, I'm doing good. Working on a couple of things. Big Ken's been in the RKB commercial. Man, salute to you, man. It's been an amazing journey. We're trying to get, things cracking over here, man. And thank you guys for always joining in and subscribing. We're going forward, man. We pushing, man. I appreciate everything, man. I ain't got my shades, but we're gonna keep it rocking though.
Just hoop, bro.
Just hoop, bro. Just hoop. So speaking of hooping, man, one of the league's top hoopers in this generation has moved on to the Philadelphia 76ers. And we're talking about the great LeBron James. The kid has had an amazing career coming out of high school and just tearing up the league as much as he did. Ken, when you heard that LeBron went to Philly, and we're gonna jump down to Paul right after you because he has a lot to talk about. What were your thoughts when he got to Philly? Because I didn't think he was going to Philly. I was thinking probably Miami or Cleveland.
Yeah, I was shocked. I think I was just as shocked as anybody else, man. Philly was definitely not on my radar for teams that I thought he would have picked. Now, being a good fit for him, we'll talk about that. But like as far as the storybook ending, I knew he was gonna try to do the last dance type of, what I'm saying, deal. So I'm like, man, it would be great for him to go home to Cleveland, finish it where he started, storybook ending. But
Mhm.
as we know, LeBron and his team, business. They're about business. So whatever is going to make sense
Well,
business wise.
Prince
So
Paul.
yeah. So again, he goes to Philly, but I don't know if you all saw in the news. They said he was going to be living in New York, which means he's going to be doing business and film and all these other things that he's been doing in LA. What's the other mecca? New York to do the same
Hmm.
thing. So it's what I'm saying, just a hop, skip, and a jump away. So going to Philly makes perfect business sense. But on the court, it also makes sense for him because he doesn't have to go there and do any heavy lifting, right? They already got a solid squad if Embiid can stay healthy. That's a big if. They already got a solid squad. They're not deep on the bench, and I think they're trying to address that. I see they're trying to make some moves, and I'm pretty sure they'll move some more people around by All Star break. But and the key thing to me is he doesn't have to stay in the Western Conference and fight through that gauntlet, bruh.
Mm. So have you heard that he has had the NBA document everything he's done since he was a kid, and he's going to have a documentary coming out after he retired?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's putting together, what's going to be his last dance documentary.
Yeah. So if he takes Philly to the championship this year, I mean, and they don't win it, because they got to go through San Antonio. what will be his legacy from that? Like,
He
would he be the GOAT past Michael Jordan?
he
No.
will not take Philly to the ring. He will not take them. As a team, they will get there, but again, he is not going to be the catalyst for that. He is not going to be the star player for that, right? That's not the expectation. That's not what's going to happen here. So for me, his legacy is what it is. If they win a championship, he will be third or fourth wheel on that car. So
Mm,
he's not going to be the star. So you can he can win back to back years, but it's still going to have an asterisk because when you try to balance it against what Jordan was able to do, Jordan won those in his prime. He won
mm-hmm.
those in his prime. One team, the whole setup was different. So I don't compare the two. I just say for me, LeBron is up there with the greats, top 5, top 2. You know what I'm saying? For most people,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have him over Jordan, but the era that I grew up in, I was blessed to be able to watch both of them, and I've always been a LeBron fan since the beginning. I just
Yeah,
don't think he's better than Mike.
gotcha. Cool. Paul, your thoughts when I know we already discussed this last time we talked on the podcast. So you could puff your chest out and let people know what was said and give us your take on LeBron going to Philadelphia 76ers.
First of all, who knew? Who knew? My man said he was shocked. No, we wasn't shocked over here. If you had been paying attention to what we was talking about last Friday, or was it last Friday? No, the Friday.
The Friday before last, yeah.
The Real Talk Nation. Man, don't even call me the Real Talk Nation no more. Y'all call me Prophet Paul. You know what I'm saying? Paul. That told y'all. I told you what I said. He needs a climatic ending to the documentary. Funny how boy said something about the documentary, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, insight. I gave you a little insight on what's happening there, right? Hey, man, he's chasing a ghost. We've already been talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
We know that. Whether he go there or not and win it all or not, he still will never be considered the GOAT. You know why? Took him too many years to do it. Number one, took him too many tries to get a championship, or should I say, the many championships as Mr. Michael Jordan, the real GOAT. Took what is it, 6 for 6? What was it? Yeah. 6 for 6, right? Come on, man. This dude, if he gets there, he'd be about like 6 for 12. See, that's 500, man. My boy was 100%. 100%. Hey, now a lot of people talking about the power move, money move that he making on this. I don't think it really was about money, man. Being honest with you, that the money's already there. I want to remind you to do career earnings. Bob normally, hey Bob, I'm on you today. I got my stats. $580 million that he's made in his career as far as contracts. All right, the Clevelands, the Miamis, the Lakers, and now Philly.
Philly, yeah.
Man, you want to talk about the other money that nobody really want to talk about right now? Off court income. How much you think he's at? How much y'all think he done made already?
I think the last number I heard he was like at $1 billion.
Over $1 billion, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Over $1 billion. What is it? What's he got? Endorsements from Nike, Beats by Dre, Pepsi. I didn't know he was on Pepsi like that. Did y'all know that?
Yeah.
I don't remember no Pepsi commercials for LeBron. You know what I'm saying? Or I don't remember that. But things like that, man. And don't even talk about all the other little investments that he has. They're all over the place with the investment he has. He's in everything damn near. So I don't really want to say that it was really about money. Is as far as positioning for his kids in that market is what I think it might be, as far as why he's in New York right now. I think it's got something to do with trying to build some kind of platform for the kids right now. Coincidentally, what's going on with Bron, man? Is I ain't heard nothing out of Lakerland right now concerning Bron. Have any of you guys heard anything on that?
Well, the last thing I heard is that they're trying to keep him because he's like now a fan favorite.
Fan favorite, or
Yeah.
fans trying to keep him from going to Philly with to make his daddy mad right now. So, GM, the assistant GM in Philly now is going to be trying to trade for Bron right now. We do know that.
What?
Right? Now, I don't know that for sure. I'm just saying. I'm just thinking the way he's been making all these power moves all these times, right? Why wouldn't he? I'm going to be the first to have my kid come to me at a second NBA home. Imagine how that sounds. You know what I'm saying? I think I told y'all LeBron is petty. I told y'all that a long time ago. All right. I think he's the kind of dude that'll mess around and do something like that, man. Try to bring his kid there with him because the Lakers ain't gonna take care of them. You can take care of Bron there, man. Come on. We all know that, right, Bob? You do know that, right? I'm like, all right. I'm not gonna do too much bragging about the, I told y'all so. I just wanted to make sure y'all felt my shirt. I was really kind of showing off my Swish for Real t-shirt that I got right here. Thank you, big man. You know what I'm saying? So proudly wearing this thing today. And coincidentally, it just happened to be that, the I told you so moment had to be with the shirt on today. I'm good.
Boogie, the king crowned himself in Philly now. You think that's going to make a difference for Philly as far as playoff standing? Because they got Jaylen Brown, Edgecombe, and then Maxey, and then Embiid. That's your starting five pretty much right there. What are they looking like, man? Can they get past the likes of New York?
Well, I will get to that in a minute. I want to tag into what Big Ken and Paul said. Off the freeway, through the window, bounce off the scoreboard, nothing but net.
Okay.
Everybody remembers that commercial, right? Larry Bird and MJ.
Yeah.
Yeah. And nobody going to remember any commercial about LeBron.
But that one he did himself. That one commercial where he was playing himself as at every age. That was dope.
Yeah, but it's been 40 plus years since that commercial. People still remember. What they're going to remember LeBron for is the decision. And they're going to go, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6. That's what they're going to remember LeBron for.
But wasn't that Chris Bosh who said that?
Nah, that was LeBron.
It was LeBron.
Bosh over there co-signing. That's what he was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I get to your question in just a minute. I was a 76ers fan the last time they won a chip. 43 years ago, 1983.
Daryl Dawkins took us to the promised land.
The previous year, they were up 3-1 on the Celtics. And then some guy named Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish, Danny Ainge took them out. Went on to the finals. So it wasn't until they got Mr. Full, the original 4, Moses Malone. They traded up from Daryl Dawkins, Chocolate Thunder. And they got Moses Malone. So it's been 43 years since the 76 won a title.
Dang.
The starting lineup in 83, you had Moses Malone, Dr. J, Maurice Cheeks, Andrew Toney, and Bobby Jones coming off the bench. With LeBron, that was then. Now you got Embiid, LeBron, Maxey, Edgecombe, and Brown. I mean, you've got a 1-for-1 historical matchup. I'm not saying they'll do the same thing, but like with every team in the NBA, injuries and health is going to, as Big Ken said, is Embiid going to be able to be healthy? I don't care if he plays 10 games through the regular season. If he's healthy and can play through the 2 months of the playoffs, that's what you need him for.
Yeah.
I mean, between Brown, LeBron, Maxey, and Edgecombe, they got enough firepower. I don't know that they have enough basketballs for everybody to shoot, though. So that's my take. It's been 43 years. The Knicks, what was it, 50 plus years since the Knicks had won their title?
Yeah, the 70s, wasn't it?
I don't know if there's another team that's gone longer, but Sixer fans are ready for a ring. And so that I heard a good description on the radio yesterday. Said there's a difference in chasing rings and rings following you. So players that are chasing rings aren't good enough to take their team to a championship.
Mm.
Players that are good enough, where they go, the rings follow.
Mm.
Well, the rings must have lost the GPS coordinates.
I think that's a hardened rule right there, man. Or you said hardenism.
Hardenism. But let me ask you this question: do you think their defense will suffer? Because Maxey, he's not very, he can play defense, and then VJ Edgecombe plays a little defense. You got, and Embiid, like you said, the injury bug might hit him again. The only one that's going to be playing defense is really LeBron at his age. How much can you get from him? What will it look like? And I forgot Jaylen Brown.
You forget who shut down Luka in the finals just 2 years ago, Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown. I mean, you got a defensive player in Jaylen Brown, and everybody else is suspect at this point. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Maxey's decent enough. He's had to carry so much of the offensive load. If you saw him in high school, the kid can play defense. He's got the tools. He's got the lateral quickness in the hands to play on the ball defense. It's just if he spends the energy there, someone's got to pick up the slack on the offensive line. He just had to carry way too much of the offensive load, so he didn't have the energy to carry it defensively. So I think with Brown and with LeBron, you'll see Maxey playing better defense. It's not that he's not capable. It's where you going to spend your energy. So,
I mean, it's like you said, everybody can really score now on that squad, so you're not going to be lacking there. So I think the focus would be defense. And I heard also that Maxey said he's willing to relinquish kind of the captain rule and give it to LeBron, so LeBron can kind of be the leader of that squad. Have you heard that?
Maxey will still be the motor, but he just won't be required to score 28 to 30 points a game for them to win. You got 4 players that can average 20 or more a game, 2 or 3 of them probably 25 a game. So, Brown had his best scoring season last year and got some MVP. So, Maxey can dial it back as far as he's still the motor, but he doesn't have to score 30 a night for them to win.
But is he going to be able to play off the ball is the question.
You never seen him do that.
Yeah, so that's my concern is him playing off the ball.
Is in the 6th grade, 5th grade. I've been seeing that kid. I ain't never seen that.
Yeah, so
guys,
that's
defense. By the way, it's not whether you can or you can't play it. I'm going to give you out of this lesson one more time. It's desire. You have that desire to play defense. You understand? You can't wait. Years later, to all of a sudden say, "Hey, put that switch on. I'm play defense now." When you ain't been doing it all these years, that's going to be hard for a lot of them dudes to do it.
That was, and these players. R.J. Hampton had the same problem. Keontae George had the same problem. Artero Morris had the same problem.
And where are they?
Play defense that got a dog mentality inside them.
Yeah, I don't see too many. I don't see no dog mentality defensively in Maxey. Never have saw that. Never.
Yeah.
Now
I'm not saying he had it. I'm just saying he has the physical tools to do it.
Oh yeah. Get you a bucket. He gonna get you a bucket, and he gonna get it up there very quickly. But I ain't putting no money on him playing no defense. And being honest with y'all, man, serious, real talk.
Because you're seeing the kid play. Yeah. So
outside of that, real talk, man. We talking about the NBA defense. Yeah. Hey, we don't play defense, young fella. We don't play defense, young fella, until it's playoff time. NBA. Who started that? Who started that? The Lakers started that, y'all. Back in the day. Think about
Showtime Lakers.
Showtime Lakers, man. Oh, man, this don't mean nothing right now, man. Wait till it's showtime. When it's showtime, playoff time, that's when the magic happens. That's when the defense, that's when you start playing some real basketball then. Playoff time, that's why I've always been telling you, I will continuously tell you guys, I don't really get into the NBA until when? Playoff time. Why? Because that's the only time they start playing on both ends of the court, man. Playoff time.
Yeah, they coast. they're good enough on the talent they can coach. And if you watch LeBron over his 23 years, he takes a play or two off on offense. So
Yeah.
so that he could play some defense, but you're not going to see the comeback block. You might see the occasional highlight reel defense he played, but LeBron still he goes over the 3-point, corner 3-point shot, gets a break because of the gravity. But like I
LeBron,
said earlier, who you going to guard? Who you going to double team on that? With edge call Maxey, Brown, LeBron, Embiid. Uh, if you switch, you're in trouble. If you double team, you're in trouble.
LeBron is an every now and then defensive player. You understand?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get this highlight right quick, young fella. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Boom, back. Chase what they call the chase down block. He do that every now and then. You don't see that all the time. He do that every now and then. He know when to do it because it's at the right moment when he does it. Believe it or not. So, like I said, it's sometimes that's why a lot of people like us old heads out here think that it's scripted, because you see certain times when they really just show up to do that. Think about the Knicks. Think about the Knicks and the San Antonio series, man. How many questionable, defensive moves did we see San Antonio, not make? You know what I'm saying? Again, you can't just flip that switch to say you're gonna play defense, and all of a sudden, it's supposed to be there, and because it wasn't, and hence that's the reason why, San Antonio choked against New York, because New York already had that switch flip, man. They were ready. They were trying to get.
That's why they called Nowitzki Irk, because there was no D. There was no D. And I called Luka Doncic because there was no D.
Hey, man, but when you can score 40 a game, what do you need to play defense for? And in the league. Why? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, Big Ken. Speaking of no defense, is KD can we say has the price of admission? Would you pay to watch him right now, where he is currently in his career? Because he's still a good player, but right now it's just too much controversy surrounding this guy, and it feels like he's not himself. I mean, Golden State got him where to win a championship, and his days in Oklahoma was amazing. But would you pay the price of admission to watch KD right now?
KD is must-see TV, bro. He is a bucket. He is entertaining. He's never been an amazing defender, but when you're 7 foot and you're long like that, and you can still move, like he plays good enough defense, and he plays good enough defense consistently, where you can't really say there's a lot of games that you watch that you pay attention to where you see KD getting cooked. He's usually cooking, but the person who's his matchup is not cooking him the same way that he's cooking them. So it's the plus minus of it. And like I said, for KD to be at this point in his career and still being able to score the ball the way he can in so many ways, it's still a thing of beauty, man, because his game, the way he plays, is a lost art today. You know what I'm saying? Getting to the mid range, footwork and things like that. You really don't see that too much no more. So yeah, I definitely pay to watch him.
Well, who would he remind you of if you think of someone in the past? Kind of, let's say between '90s and to the '70s, late '70s.
I mean, you gotta go George Gervin first and foremost. I mean, that's the comp. Even George Gervin himself has said he looked at KD and said, "This guy plays like a version of me." You know what I'm saying? But you got to keep in mind, again, this dude is 7 foot tall, doing the type of stuff that he's doing and handling the ball the way that he handles the ball and shooting at that clip. It's low key amazing still at this point in his career that he can score like this.
And I think he took a lot from Dirk Nowitzki as far as that knee up fadeaway.
Oh yeah.
What do you thought about it? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, he definitely he I mean, he even said that he borrowed those moves, and as a good player, that's what you do. You watch the greats and you see things that they do and you take something from their game and add it to yours. It's how you become, better, and it's how you become greater.
Gotcha. And what's his legacy? Where does he go from here? Is he top 20 or top 50? Where he ranks?
Yeah, he's clearly top 50. And you can make an argument for him to be top 20 too because of his accomplishments. And when you start talking about basketball, what people don't understand too, I always talk about this, is when they talk about Hall of Fame players and they say everybody gets in the Hall of Fame. What people have to look at when you talk about basketball, there's the Basketball Hall of Fame. There's not the NFL Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not the NBA Hall of Fame, it's the Basketball Hall of Fame. So
Mm-hmm.
when they go in the Hall of Fame, it's a combination of what they did in high school, college, and the pros. And
Mm-hmm.
with the numbers that he's put up and the ranks that he's at on the list, he's definitely going to be a Hall of Famer one day. And I think his legacy is what it is. I don't think he's going to win another ring unless he goes and joins another team or anything like that. But I think his legacy is a solid legacy. And, I personally don't think he has anything else to prove at this point. He's playing because he just loves to hoop. And I
Right.
respect that.
I got one last question for you, and I'm gonna swing it over to Boogie Bob. The championships he won in Golden State, should we put an asterisk by them because he joined the super team per se?
I wouldn't because of what he contributed to it. Now
Yeah.
I could see if he was, you know what I'm saying, the second or third wheel, but on those teams, he was the scorer. You know what I'm saying? Like Steph scored, but KD was he KD brings so much attention to him defensively that it opened it up even more for the other guys. So that made the heavy lifting, you know what I'm saying, lighter for Steph. You know what I'm saying? And of course, you have, you know what I'm saying, those shooters that they had around him. So, I mean, Clay, Clay didn't have to do as much. He just had to make sure that he was in the right spots and, get open buckets. So, I wouldn't put an asterisk by it because if you're going to put an asterisk by his, you got to put an asterisk by a lot of people's stuff.
All right, gotcha. Appreciate that. Boogie, is KD still worth the price of admission just to go watch him play? Is he a lord? And if he's not a lord, who would be, better than him to go watch first as far as the league currently?
Uh, if you had never seen him play, yes, it's worth a ticket to see him play. And I'll throw this to Ken. When he first came out, uh, my friend said he's a taller version of Tracy McGrady. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I if you've never seen him play, I've seen him play a lot. My dad had season tickets for the Thunder, so when he was there, I saw him. Uh, if I hadn't seen him play, yeah, like uh, he's one of those players that's kind of like a concert. If you never saw Michael Jackson in concert once he passed away, everybody's like, "Oh, I wish I'd have seen him play." There's some players like that. If you've never seen him play, then uh, when the Mavericks weren't winning, people went to go see the other team player, and having been season ticket holders, I've pretty much seen every player, past and present, that you'd want to see. So that's kind of my take. The one thing I'll say, he's no longer an MVP candidate. There was a time during his prime when in Oklahoma City, even went the first couple years ago to say he was considered an MVP candidate. You don't hear that much about that now. Uh, is he still one of the top 10 current players in the league? I think so. I think he's still in the top 10 of the current players. Where he ranks all time, he just last season he just passed 30,000 and he passed Dirk on the list of top scorers.
Mm,
And you had to remember he didn't even play 1 year because of a torn Achilles. So
I remember
uh,
that.
and I think he's in his 18th season. So he's already in the top 6 scoring, and he hadn't even played 20 years yet. And then I'll say this: the one thing I've always liked about KD, kind of what Paul said, he plays the occasional defense. You're 7 foot tall, so you can stand flat footed and at least alter some shots. But the one thing that sticks with me, he's still one of the best shooters in the game. Everybody
Yeah, he
talks
got a
about
sweet
Stephen Curry
stroke.
being the greatest shooter of all time, but I remember it was some summer. It wasn't a summer league, but there was a summer show, and they were like just before they even started calling it the logo shot. And Kevin Durant had only been I think he's just come out of college or 1 or 2 years out of college. And he was stepping back 30, 35 feet at 19, 20, 21 years of age and just drilling it. As far as the shooting motion, he's got one of the purest shooting motions you'll see. So if kids are wanting to study a player just for pure mechanics and shooting motion, I'm like, that's him and Stephen Curry. Now, Stephen Curry kind of cheats a little bit. Those long range shots he has, he torques his hip and he torques his shoulder so that he gets a lot more force in it. But old school pure form, I mean, he's up there. I mean, Stephen Curry's a great shooter, and Larry Bird was a great shooter. And to me, the difference between a shooter and a scorer, Allen Iverson could get you 30, but he took 30 shots to get you 30.
Yeah.
Dirk would get you 30, but he'd only have like 14 or 15 shots in the game.
Efficient.
So shooters can score without having to take a buttload of shots. And Kevin Durant, I've seen way too many games where you look at the end of the night and you're like, I don't remember him having 28 points. He get a quiet 28 because he's got free throws and he maybe took 10, 12 shots. And he's not one of those guys. When he's at Golden State, maybe, and when he won the MVP at Thunder, you think back, oh, he dominated the game. That's where there's some similarities with him and Dirk, is that they can get their buckets, but they don't stick out as dominating the game.
Let me ask you this question about him in Houston. Has he made them a little better? Because they gave a lot just to get him, and I don't think the coach is kind of happy with where he is with Durant right now. What can he do to make that team much better?
I think he made them better. They were third seed last year in Young, and they ran into a buzzsaw in the Lakers. Bad matchup. But they really didn't give up much, I don't think. And Jalen Green hadn't turned into what he was supposed to. Dylan Brooks was known as the defensive guy, and in Phoenix, all of a sudden he learned how to shoot again from his college days. But they didn't give up a lot of capital to get KD. Nothing like what Phoenix gave up. So, he plays 20 years. You're going to see another 2-3 years of KD. And we talked about LeBron earlier, going to be in his 24th season and keeping his body. You got to give KD some credit for playing this long too, especially being as thin as he is.
Yeah.
7 foot and skinny as a rail, and yet he's still in the league, and there's been a lot of bodies bouncing on him and banging on him, and he's managed to stay in the game. And no, other than the Achilles, no major injuries.
Thanks. Paul, is he worth the price of admission, Mr. Kevin Durant, the Slim Reaper, if you will?
Not me no more. No more.
Yeah.
I loved KD, UT, you know what I'm saying? Maryland playground and all that. What is the DC area and so forth. Great kid, hungry kid, want to make it. Now he's like a business decision maker on the floor to me. The pros made him like that. He's definitely one of the greatest all-time shooters in the league, no doubt. I give him that.
Mid-range game is crazy.
I never liked that what I perceive as the attitude that he's had through the later years, especially after Golden State. I don't like business decision making players. You know what I'm saying? I like a dog. I think one of the topics we're gonna have tonight, and we're gonna talk about that Mamba mentality, right? That dude don't have it to me. You know what I'm saying? And I hadn't seen that in him in years. But I will go in and talk about when we talk about that topic in a little bit later. But KD, great shooter, man. But I just think he's I just see laziness in him. Dude don't even want to comb his hair. All that money you make, look at my man Ken. You all suave and everything with your beard, nice. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you don't even make the millions of dollars that this brother made. You know what I'm saying? And, I just hate players, man, that set bad examples. You know what I'm saying? For our youth right now. You know what I'm saying? And to me, he's one of those guys. Well, we're not gonna make it personal, whatever on that. But I just, I'm not big on KD no more because, like I said, I am old school to the T. You understand what I'm saying? I like Mamba mentality, and I didn't even like your boy. What's his name? Kobe. I wasn't a Kobe fan, but you got to respect what he did. You know what I'm saying? And I do respect that because he was a killer, not part time, not part time. He was a full time certified killer. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what he was. I can't say that about my man KD, man. And talking about the twerking you were talking about earlier, Bob, with my boy Steph. There's an old saying that we like to say, it ain't tricking if you ain't got it, Ken. You know what I'm saying? Hey, my boy saying it ain't twerking if you ain't got it, if you can't hit it, baby. And that's what he can do. So don't bring Steph in that conversation. Steph in the class by himself right now. We leave them light skinned brothers alone, right? You know, leave them light skinned brothers alone. That's my dude right there. Oh dang, I'm saying that too loud. I don't want my son to hear me. My son is a big
Oh, we're going to develop. I'm going to get me some red tape. I'm going to say, I hit the red hot button. I hit the red hot button.
Let it go. Let it go. All right. So, but like I said, I'm not trying to pay no money to see KD play no more. I'm telling you that right now, and I'm going to just leave it at that. I think he need to let it go, because it don't look like he enjoyed playing right now. You talking about what he want to do for Houston? He's out training Pancho Bancaro. Who does Pancho play for, bro?
Pablo Bancaro.
Pablo, yeah. I call him Pancho. Pablo, yeah. Who's he play for, Ken?
Orlando Magic.
Orlando Magic. Why is he out training Pancho right now? Why he ain't training? What's the kid's name on the Houston? He got a bunch of Jabari.
Yes,
Jabari
Smith. Yeah, especially Jabari.
He could be training right now, but he out training the enemy.
I mean, they gotta want to do it. They gotta want to do it.
What about that? And I don't know what the story is on that, but like I said, I saw that and I was like, damn.
Yeah, Pablo wants it. Pablo's a dog, and Pablo wants to soak up all the knowledge that he can. And like you said, he's working out with guys that he wants to emulate parts of their game. So why not go get it?
I ain't finna go help out no other brother that ain't playing on my team.
Well, that's our generation and before us.
I know we too funny in this generation.
That's the way we grew up. But these young guys, they totally different when it comes to that, man.
Now remember what I said.
Big Ken, Mike. I took Mike to the Orlando Magic Dallas Maverick game, and Banchero just, even though Mike loves him, I kind of like him. He's kind of regressed. He didn't impress us that game, but Cooper Flag scored 51 that game.
Yeah.
Banchero could do anything. And if you talk about Houston, get Elijah in there and train you.
Oh, he is. Yeah, he's with Elijah him, and they showed a picture the other day of him, Victor Wembanyama, and somebody else. They were all working out with Elijah I think it was Bam.
Probably Elijah kids. He got a couple of kids that's playing.
No. All three of those NBA players were pictured with Elijah and he was working out with. Yeah, he was working out with them. So, a lot of those guys, they go work out with Elijah Some of them publicize it, and some of them don't. But yeah, he's still training guys on footwork every summer.
Now, footnote. Remember I said we talking about that mentality, right? We're gonna go into that next, right? We're gonna come back to this boy again. We're gonna talk about that when we ask me that question on that.
I was gonna say one last question for you, Paul.
My bad.
Do you think KD is he kind of like chasing like LeBron is in a sense? Because they look like they're doing the same thing.
No, I think they ain't doing the same thing. I think KD just trying to get his checks right now. He trying to stack as much money as possible right now. Because like I said, again, I don't see, I don't understand why we going to get, Pablo ready or Pancho, whatever his name is. Well, you the enemy. I don't, it's too friendly. This game became too friendly. We didn't do this in back in our days, man. Don't get me wrong, we cool off the court and everything, but you play for the other team, I'm not helping you, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to kill you every time I play against you. That's that Mamba mentality we talk about. You know what I'm saying? So we'll get to that in a minute. But no, I don't see it.
Gotcha. And speaking of Mamba mentality, man, it's something that was coined by Kobe Bryant when he had to get sever himself from the Shaq era and be himself and be that Batman by himself. Boogie Bob, in your opinion, what is Mamba mentality to you, and is there any player currently can showcase that in your opinion?
There's an interesting bit of trivia with that phrase. He was telling the coach, asking one of the coaches and telling him about Mamba mentality, and he says, the black Mamba uh,
Mhm.
gets killed, and Kobe said, not this black Mamba.
Nah, you say mama, is it not this black mama? No, no.
Yeah, not this black
We'll
Mamba.
keep PG, though. We'll keep PG. Go ahead.
So, uh, to me, the Mamba mentality: never give up, never give in.
Right, right.
That's one. Strive to always be the best, not at just one thing, but everything. Be the most competitive. He like Michael Jordan, he was not going to let somebody get the best of him. And Magic Johnson and Larry Bird had that same kind of mentality. Like they were not going to let someone else beat them. If they got beat, they're going to come back the next summer. They're going to work their butt off so that they're the most competitive. And I'm saying because I wasn't a big Kobe fan, but I definitely appreciated his talent. And and every time he stepped on the court, even if he wasn't the best player, which he was most of the time, but even when he wasn't the best player, he was the most competitive on the floor.
No doubt.
And then in the uh, one thing you hear a lot of players say, but he actually lived it: in early, stay late.
Yeah, yeah.
He was the first in the gym and the last one to leave.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that was the essence of when he said the Black Mamba, and we now call it the Mamba mentality. But Michael Jordan had it, Larry Bird had it, Magic Johnson had it. Uh, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird used to play against each other in French Lick, and Larry Bird's mother made Magic Johnson lunch. They play all day on the court out there on concrete
Right, right.
and beat each other up in off season. So, is there any player out there? I don't think there's any singular player out there that has a Mamba mentality. I couldn't think of. I had to think long and hard. But this guy hadn't played many games, but the closest guy I can think of that has that kind of mentality or play style more than mentality, Kawhi Leonard when he's healthy is probably he's several layers lower, as I once told Ken. Different stratosphere, right? You remember that, Ken? So he's not in the same stratosphere as Kobe, but Kawhi Leonard is competitive as hell when he's healthy. Problem is, he just hadn't been healthy the last 5, 6 years.
Right.
Yeah. I kind of agree with that. My thought would be Giannis is pretty close to that, in my opinion. He's not a great scorer like Kobe in differences as far as Giannis plays inside and sometimes outside. Kobe was like, you can get it the way you want to get it. You know what I mean? Big Ken, your thoughts? You think there's any player out there right now can define that Mamba mentality, and what is that to you as far as that phrase?
Yeah, when I think about Mamba mentality, it's the passion, the obsession, and the relentlessness that Kobe displayed on the court, at practice, and pretty much everything he did, like the competition piece of it, along with being resilient and fearless. I think right now, I would agree that Giannis to me does exhibit that. You know what I'm saying? It's not exactly like Kobe because nobody's going to be exactly like Kobe, but cut from that kind of cloth where he's competitive and going to go out there and give it his all on both ends of the court. And that's kind of where I look at it. I'll also include Jalen Bronson in that because
Hmm.
he's a little chippy guy. He's going to play hard on both ends of the court. He gets bumped around and he makes it happen. And he showed that, you know what I'm saying, in the finals that he has that Mamba mentality. And also Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum also has that Mamba mentality. People can argue back and forth about it, but year in, year out, when he's healthy, Jason Tatum is a dog on both ends of the court. And people went back and forth about Jalen Bronson. I mean Jalen Brown as well. You can include him in that. These guys play both ways, and it's about an intensity on both sides of the ball because people don't understand how much it takes for you to be able to score 25 plus points a game and lock up on defense the other way. It takes a willpower to keep pushing you because you can be in the best shape possible, but you got to want to do it, and that's the willingness to go out there and put it all on the line and be successful. And these guys have all won at the highest levels.
Let me ask you this question: do you think Cooper Flag can possibly get to that point?
Cooper Flag doesn't have the Mamba mentality. He's a great player, but I don't think he is just cut from that kind of cloth. I think he is just a good player. He has a bunch of different skill sets that he can display when he's on the court. And yes, he's very intelligent. He has a high IQ. But again, when we say Mamba mentality, that's like a top tier level of being a dog, right?
But
When you say guys are a dog, that's a level. But Mamba mentality to me is a step above somebody who's being a dog or who has a dog mentality.
Hey,
so,
Ken,
my,
you may remember it when they had the Olympic team and Kobe was playing. He goes, "Y'all go score. I'm going to lock up their best player."
Yeah.
Kobe didn't care in the Olympics. Didn't care about scoring. He's like, "I'm going to, I'll dish it. I'm going to go get their best score. Y'all gonna go take care of the scoring."
now,
That's
Ken, I was going to ask you
like
this question though. Like when he LeBron got to LA, did it kind of tarnish that aura that Kobe left there? And because I think a lot of people were really waiting on the LeBron to move on to his next team, but did it kind of kill that aura of the Mamba mentality for the Lakers?
Well, I think it did a little bit, but I think LeBron going to the Lakers was it was just a difficult transition because doing all that, Kobe dies in the plane crash, the
Hmm.
pandemic happens, like just so much happened during that transition that I think it took a lot of the steam away from what the legacy that Kobe had kind of rolled up during his time there. But at the same time, we didn't expect to see Kobe from LeBron, so that wasn't my expectation. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, and to be quite honest with you, the fact that they won in the bubble, I wasn't surprised. I'm just more surprised at the expectation that they had after the bubble that they never tasted that championship again. So I think that's the biggest thing that's the biggest issue that people will have with his time with the Lakers is okay, you won in the bubble and then your bubble got burst after that because you never went back.
No more. I feel you. Paul, Mamba mentality. I know you kind of touched on it a little bit in your previous statements. Who does have it now in the league, and who's your favorite player to put that title to? And what's your definition of Mamba mentality?
it definitely, as I said earlier, it got to be a killer full time.
Mm.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't really see nobody in the league that's like that right now. I see a bunch of homeboys playing against each other. You know, my Mamba mentality guys, a guy like Beckham Black, out of Southeastern Prep. A 12th going to be a 12th grade senior, a senior this year in basketball. Isaac Hayes for
Yeah.
North Riley.
Shout out to Isaac Hayes,
Yeah,
man.
hey man, those guys have that killer mentality, man. They want to kill every play. They want to get a bucket. They want to defend. They want to get a loose ball. They do everything. I don't see that in the NBA guys right now, man, because a lot of that is because they're trying to get that check. They're getting that check. They want to stay getting that check because you can't be like street clothes. If you ain't like street clothes, Anthony Davis, everybody ain't 6'11", 7 feet. You know what I'm saying? That they can block shots. The other guys are trying to stay healthy so they continue to get their checks, man. And so that's part of why there's no more Mamba guys to me, man. I don't see it, man. The last one, some of the guys that I think that were just Mamba mentalities, right? Chris Jackson, what's his name? Mahmoud.
Mahmoud
Abdul
Abdul Rauf.
That dude was a killer,
Yeah.
and he looked a little crazy with the the T-Rex thing he had going, but his mentality was, I'm getting a bucket, I'm trying to get this ball, I'm trying to get a win at any cost. Guys like that, man, is that closest to Kobe, Allen Iverson. Back in them days, that old school flavor, man. You had a bunch of those kind of guys that was like Kobe. Kobe just was the last of the Mohicans, if you will, man. Kobe was the kind of killer Montana kind of dude that got Big Shaq out of there. You know what I'm saying? And Shaq took it. Shaq said, "Okay, he's special." You know what I'm saying? He told me, I got to go because he's the greatest basketball. It made him believe that he had to go. That's how cold and much of a killer, my boy Kobe was, man. And Kobe still talk. I mean, not Kobe, but Shaq still talking about it till this day. How Kobe was so cold with getting rid of him getting him out of Lakerville. So, I respect that because Mamba is also about making the right play for the organization too, man. I can't even say that for LeBron, man. I love LeBron. That's my dude and all that, but he that's what separates him and other than the championship rings, him and the real GOAT, because the GOAT didn't play that either, though. You know what I'm saying? He was a Mamba guy before we actually got it coined by Kobe. Like I said, Kobe was the last one. Like I said, last of the Dons to do that. So.
What about Cade Cunningham? Does he have the potential to have that Mamba mentality?
Nah, Cade, that's my boy. Don't get me wrong. Cade a little friendly too, He got moments, you know what I'm saying? He had those moments where he gonna bust you in the tail, you know what I'm saying, and keep it moving. But he's a pretty killer. You know what I'm trying to say? He kind of give us light-skinned brothers a little bad rap a little bit every now and then. You know how to go. We got to be cool every now and then, but nah, he ain't like Kobe. Now, I don't see nobody in the league, really. Give me some more names. You got anybody else?
Devin Booker, maybe, because he trained with Kobe.
Hey, Devin just want to shoot a three. I can't make on, man. I can't even. I saw Devin Booker when he was a senior in high school at a tournament in Memphis. Man, DeSoto had went to play just out of Memphis. It was called Corinth. It was a classic that they have, Thanksgiving classic that they have, and I'm telling you, dude, he didn't give a damn about nothing else but shooting the ball, and didn't care about the win. I think they lost that night. He didn't give a damn. Long as he got his 30, he was good. I know. I remember a kid in the state championship game, dude. My son played against, and they had a top scorer, man, that was trying to get his 20 to 25 every game, and one of my homeboys was messing with him, talking about, hey man, y'all getting, because they were favored to win, and he says, man, I don't care about the win. He said, I got my 25.
Dang.
That's the state of the game, though, y'all. That when kids tell you that in the state championship game, it's 2 minutes left in the game, and he being heckled by a parent, right? And he said, man, I don't care about this as long as I got my 25, we good. That's when I said, you know what? There's something wrong with this game. And I've been knowing that kid since he was like yay high. And when he said that, I was shocked because I always thought that kid was a killer. And he broke my heart that night, man. So you got to be careful with what you really see. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it ain't really what you see that's in them. You know what I'm saying? You gotta really go until you really know them. You just never know. So
one last name I'm gonna throw out at you. It might not even be Mamba mentality, but he did break Kobe's record. Bam Adebayo.
You gonna say, but he broke Bam? Come on, man. See, here we go. You get me my old head mentality again right now. If that wasn't the most impromptu, staged 83 points ever, I don't know what was. Especially when he got 40 something. He got like 30 something points in the last 8 minutes or whatever, something like that. When you shoot a free throw and you get your own rebound, and they let you get your rebound to get a layup.
Dang.
I got one question for you, Paul.
Yeah.
In their prime, these two players, Damian Lillard and Drew Holiday, were they the Mamba mentality? Because remember when Damian Lillard knocked out Oklahoma City and he said, bye-bye?
You know what time it is? It's Dame time. Dame had it, bro. I ain't, I don't know what happened with him in Milwaukee. Was that tragic or what? I just felt like somebody shot him or something, dude. It just like he was assassinated somewhere, man. I don't know. You know what? He was a killer, bro. I give Dame that. Dame. Now Drew Holiday, I don't know if we should put Drew in that category. He was good. He wasn't, on that level though. But Dame,
yeah, not Drew Holiday.
Yeah, Dame was there, man, because Dame didn't give a damn. He trying to get you. You got to get out the way. I need mine. And I don't know where that went when he went to Milwaukee.
Injuries.
Yeah, injury.
Yeah,
He did slow down for the injuries, though, for sure.
Yeah, when he waved bye-bye to Oklahoma City long before Steph Curry came up with the night.
And then
Dame Dolly hit it from the logo. That's why they call it the logo shot.
Hey, I would say Steph is a Mamba, but Steph played too much. You know what I'm saying? He too goofy with it, man. He got the mouthpiece all up in here and might hit somebody in the eye with it a little bit, with his little spit and all that. He too goofy on there. But shoot, let that game be on the line. I know who I'm giving the ball to.
But Dame was a killer.
Yeah. Dame was a killer. I give you that, yes, sir. I after that, I don't really. I'm just drawing a blank, man. I like Shea. SGA, but he takes off too much.
Yeah, you shouldn't even put him in the same breath.
That's what I'm just saying. He just take. I'm saying because I'm trying to think of the leaders of the group right now, right? Shea, Steph.
I was saying, none of these guys are gonna be. You got to take that out of your mind. None of these guys are gonna be like Kobe. So you have to look at it in the sense of what that means for these younger guys. And that's why I named the guys I named, because they're two-way players. They play at a high clip on both ends of the floor, and they've taken their teams to the highest heights. So really, those are the boxes that you had to check off for me to even be mentioned as somebody who's in that lineage of Kobe and the Mamba mentality. Because if you can't do that, then there's no need for me mentioning you with Kobe or even anywhere close to that Mamba mentality.
Hey, but I think that Mamba mentality should have been coined a lot earlier than Kobe. You know what I'm saying? I gave you a bunch of names.
Well, yeah, those were we just called them killers.
Right? How many we got back then versus what we got now, though.
But again, the game was more competitive back then because those guys weren't getting paid as much. It's so much involved off the court now that these guys are not being propelled competitively to do the same things that those guys were in the 90s and before, right? So it's a lot that goes into it. And like I said, these guys, part of it is they want to be available at the end of the year, because if you're going super hard every game, 82 games, you're not going to last. And when you get to the end of the season, you're going to be beat up. You might be injured. So their coaches are telling them, their agents are telling them, hey, man, slow up, pace yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's why they have the games that they allow these guys to take off, and and all this other stuff, because it's about pacing yourself and getting to the end of the season now. So, it's not even about the competitive, because like they were saying, Mike, when he played for the Wizards, his last season, he played all 82 games.
Hey.
On a bad knee. Like most of these guys wouldn't even do that, because they're gonna figure why should I be out here competing? I'm injured. My team is not that good. Why do I need to be out here? Their agents and the coaches would have said, you know what? You're right. Shut it down.
It's all about that paper.
Business is serious.
Yep.
Ken, do you remember that the Malice in the Palace?
Of course. I was watching that game.
Well, there was a player that all that started with, and I want to jump into his career, and I want to start with you first. Ron Artest, he has had quite an NBA career, man. Ups and downs. There's been a lot of controversies following this guy. He changed his name to Metta World Peace. We're gonna do a deep dive. And what are your deep dive thoughts on Mr. Metta World Peace, Ron Artest?
Man, Ron is my guy. Ron is one of my favorite players, man. AKA the true warrior, man. I watched Ron at all levels when he was at St. John's, when he was in the NBA with the many teams that he traveled to. And also I watched him play in the Rucker in the summertime. Man, Ron is an entertaining guy, and he is a he. I think he was a kind of a predecessor to what they coin a 3-and-D guy now, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the first guys who was kind of like in that mold where he wasn't gonna, you know what I'm saying, wow you with his offense most of the time. He was gonna find a spot, set up, and he was gonna knock down shots, and he was gonna lock up the other team's best player. So
Mm-hmm.
that was his role. He was Dennis Rodman with just a little bit more with a little bit more offense, you know what I'm saying, per se in that lane. But um, he was very good at what he did. You know, people kind of compare him to, you know, what Draymond does now, because if he was in the game now, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, size wise, he's a little bit bigger than Draymond, but he has some of the same skill sets, but he's a better shooter. I give him that. He's a better shooter than somebody like Draymond, but he's a defensive guy. And that's what he made his living doing. And he did it well. But the crazy thing about it is when you saw him play in the summertime in the Rucker and some of these other summer leagues, the guy could score. And that just shows you the talent of a lot of these NBA guys when you see them in the league and they only averaging 10, 11 points, which isn't easy. People just think it's easy to average 10 points. It's not easy to average 10 points in the NBA. But to average 10 points and then lock up the other team's best player and be tasked with that every single night, night after night, that's a big deal, man. So you know, Ron's been one of my favorite players, man. Shout out to Ron Artest, man, aka Metta World Peace, man.
So
Let us yes,
when
but
he was with the Lakers, what I mean, his career took a downfall after the Lakers. What were some of the things that probably took his career to that path where he didn't really recover from?
I think it's just, you know what I'm saying, the fact of, and I say this all the time, you have certain guys who don't fit well in certain team settings, certain with the coaches and with the team philosophies and with the team scheme. So you can't plug Ron Artest on any team. Yeah, everybody plays defense, but it takes a certain offensive side, you know what I'm saying, for him to find a spot to fit in on the offense and be able to contribute there. And it takes a coach to be able to coach somebody like that, because let's just be honest. At times he's a head case. So, you know, just like with Dennis Rodman, everybody can't coach guys like that.
mm,
So I think that's a bit of an issue. So when you go to these teams and you don't have a coaching staff that knows how to, you know what I'm saying, talk to a guy like this or deal with a guy like this, they're gonna do what a parent does when they don't know how to control a kid. What they're gonna do? Put them on punishment. They'll put him on punishment versus trying to figure the issue out or trying to, you know what I'm saying, figure out a way we can keep him on the floor because he contribute to us. We just gonna figure out a way we can keep him around, try to keep him happy, try to keep him sane. And you know, if we can move him, we gonna move him. And that's what ended up happening to him and Dennis Rodman toward the end.
So, you know,
And
Ken, you make a good point there. And the common denominator is Phil Jackson was his coach for Dennis Rodman and the coach for Ron Artest.
mm.
Yep. Somebody who could actually deal with the mental gymnastics.
yeah, and I think he only won one title, and that was with the Lakers in 2010. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, we're gonna swing it over to you, Paul. Ron Artest, I know you had a lot of opportunities to watch him play because you're all of us on this panel is like basketball junkies for sure.
Yeah.
Give me your thoughts on the career of Mr. Ron Artest, Metta World Peace.
Man, just athletic and talented and was really, believe it or not, off the court, down to earth, man. Dude was humble, always spoke to you. I've had the pleasure of meeting him off the court and so forth and talking with him. Dude ain't never been trying to be too big for who he was or what he represented. He was just he could be a dude just sitting on the panel right here with all four of us today, and just chilling and talking about things. And I always respected him. In between those lines, y'all, those players, football, basketball, even baseball, they turn into different people, man. And they're trying to get in touch with their inner being that helps them glow. You know what I'm saying? That takes them to the next level. and for some have, we all got our different ways of doing what we do, and for him, he was a guy that could get in your head, and he knew it. Lance Stevenson tried to be like that,
Lance to make them dance.
Ron Artest, he knew how to do it.
Yeah.
Dudes would get mad at him, just for looking at it. What you looking at me like that for, or something like that, but his talent, man, St. John's, man, was, great player at St. John's. I remember the Red Storm with him when he was there. I liked him, man. I didn't have no issues with him. I think the issues that he had that ended up being magnified was because he was trying to win, man, and part of how he tries to win at that phase was, you got enforcers. You know what I'm saying? Some of the greatest enforcers, you name one of them, and Dennis Rodman, Draymond Green. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Draymond Green is, in that same category. Ron Artest was one of the originators of that, for basketball. He brought that hockey mentality sometimes, man. I got to do this to help my team win, and he didn't have a problem doing it because it was by all means necessary when it came down to Ron Artest, man. And you got to respect that, man. And now the Palace and the Malice and Palace and all that, that was crazy. I keep, every time I look at Jermaine O'Neal now, coach right now, I still think of that. But man, how different could that have been, that night? I just don't know, because again, that was Detroit, right? You know what I'm saying? And that's was the mentality that Detroit had took over from the bad boys, and then they were trying to be the second coming of that in so many words, right? And so shout out to him, man, for for trying to make something like that happen. He was trying to keep a legacy going, right? The Detroit bad boys. So I don't have a lot to say about anything bad about him, because, like I said, one thing about him, he put it all on the floor, man. And when he left, I guarantee you, every time he left that court, his jersey was probably the wettest. You know what I'm saying? Because he worked.
Probably ripped.
ripped. Yeah. Because got to get a couple tussles. So yeah. So much respect to Ron Artest on the cool. So
now in 2011, that's when I really kind of fell out of like for him because of what he did in the Mother's Day Massacre when they played against the Dallas Mavericks. Him and Andrew Bynum, man, they were just trying to destroy the Mavs, and the Mavs blew them out by 40. And then them two, the only two that really got kicked out of the game, and they kind of put a tarnish on Kobe's career at that point, man, because Kobe was really trying to win it all, but they wasn't really trying.
Yeah, I remember that too. That wasn't a good look for him either. But I think everybody that plays that role has moments like that, Mike. You know what I'm saying? Where it don't work. You know what I'm saying? And it makes them look bad. And they just hope that by the time their career is over with and so forth, none of us remember that kind of stuff. So, but again, like I said, I barely remember that, because the only reason I would have never thought of that if had you not have said nothing about that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how much of a long time memory that was for me that I didn't even really care about. Don't get me wrong, I'm a Maverick fan, but I just chalked that up as we won that game and we moved on. You know what I'm saying? We put them Lakers out of business. Damn Kobe. Excuse me. My bad, Kobe.
You good, Kobe. Salute. Boogie Boogie by Ron Artest, deep diving into the man's career. He's had a lot of controversy, like we just kind of mentioned earlier. Give us your take on what he brought to the league, and give us some stats. I know you got them.
Well, I usually have like a couple comments. So there's a reason I'm the skinny guy on the panel, because y'all ate all that material up. Wipe plate clean.
That's why I didn't try to say too much, man. I
know. No,
I know
Malice in the Palace was number one on the list, and Mother's Day Massacre was number two, and then Ken come right off. I had a trivia question, and he came right out and said St. John's. I'm like, well, there goes my trivia question.
Damn.
So I'll just go straight. I'll just go straight to it. And by the way, do you remember who he took out in that 2011 game? I'll give you a hint. He had initials and he's smaller than I am.
You talking about Berea?
He took out Berea.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought Bynum took out Berea
Hold on,
because
y'all.
Berea went to the paint and then he got hit with that forearm. Remember?
Yeah, Artest, Bynum threw a clothesline, but Artest hit him earlier in the game. I think it was earlier. Anyhow, career stats: 13.2 points a game, 4.5 rebounds a game, 2.7 assists a game. Played 17 seasons, made $77 million.
That's bad.
He made the all rookie team. He made one all star team. He won one chip, 2010, with the Lakers, as you said. One time he made the all NBA team. And
Defense
then
or offense? Or just
offense. So I'm going to
gotcha.
get to the defense because I know how you and I, as coaches, we love that.
Facts.
Four times he made all defensive team, and two of those were first team.
Nice.
8 times he got voting shares for defensive player of the year. You care to guess how many defensive player of the year awards he actually won and who he won it with?
I couldn't tell you who he won and win, but I'm thinking he won at least 5.
One.
He only won one?
Yep.
Dang.
One defensive player of the year, even though he had voting shares 8 times. One, 2003, 2004 with the Indiana Pacers.
Pacers. Yep.
Dang.
And I think, I have to go back and look. I think Carlisle was the coach. But that,
More than likely.
as far as accolades go, that's it. You know, I love Big Ken's comp. He was a Dennis Rodman, and for those that didn't follow Dennis Rodman, he went to a small school in Oklahoma, Southwest something college. He
Christian.
led the team in scoring. They're like Division II, but he averaged 20 plus points a game. So even Dennis Rodman could score, but he didn't need to fill that role on the Bulls team. You know, the worm just you like grab a rebound, play deep. And
Yep.
yeah, our test might be more well rounded, but I like the way Big Ken painted that because it's pretty much every team's looking for one of those. They look to draft a guy like that, and as Ken said, 3-and-D guy. But they didn't call Ron Artest and Dennis Rodman those kind of guys. They didn't call them 3-and-D. They were just, you needed that glue guy. You needed that guy that was going to go out and do the unnecessary. I'll even go way, way back. Popeye Jones was that guy for the Mavericks way in the 90s when they didn't win.
Yep.
He grabbed 8, 9 rebounds, 10 rebounds a game. Didn't score much, but he played defense. He wasn't exactly fast, but he could defend and he could rebound, you know, and he wasn't athletic like Rodman or Artest, but he'd tip the ball until he could grab it with both hands. But yeah, Artest is, if you see him, he's been on some game shows and he's been on some other late night TV shows and all that. He's funny. He's a cut up.
Mhm.
I'd love to see him on your podcast, Ken, the Fire.
By a session.
Yeah, we'll definitely shoot our shot. We'll definitely shoot our shot.
I think that would be a hilarious and fun podcast interview.
Thanks. Man, my thoughts on Ron Artest again, like I kind of fell out of favor with me when he did my boys like that in the 2011 series or against the Dallas Mavericks. But he's a very good player in defensively. Like you said, Bob, I'm a defensive guy. I love seeing people play good defense. If you got some okay offense, your defense can make up for that because you can always steal the ball and get a breakaway layup or whatever. You know what I mean? So that's the catalyst of most NBA championships is if you got good defense besides Golden State, which again you guys talked about Draymond Green. That was pretty much their defensive captain. But like if you don't have that, you got good shooters and somewhat of a good defense, you can still win. But Ron Artest, yeah, salute to your brother, man. Guys, Good episode. Great job. Thank you so much. Appreciate y'all coming on. Paul, give the people of your social.
Hey,
Get
food
some?
for thought right quick, man, because Ken hit on some stuff that we
Yeah.
need a future topic about, man. Why is it? How what do you want to say that? Why is it that
Give them a notepad.
these kids, this game is just so lackadaisical now? I know we talked about the money has a lot to do with it. You know, what's the difference really between old school basketball and the new school now? You know what I'm saying? I
Mm,
know we touching a little bit on it with the Mamba mentality, the checks, the paychecks, and all that. But a lot of that is starting to filter down even into my high school world. You know what I'm saying?
mm.
And
NIL.
and is it because the money's coming here now? You know what I'm saying?
That and 3 other letters, AAU.
Yeah.
We can talk about that though.
I
Hey,
think social media too.
it's been here for a long time.
No, but not the way it is now, man. These AAU teams, back in the day, you had AAU teams where you had talent like from regions or from the city, but you'll have an AA team with literally the best guys from 4 different states on one team now. And these guys trek their way through college and into the pros. And these guys that play AAU together are the same guys who are making it to the NBA. So they were buddies then, they're going to be buddies now. So the competition between them is different because they more like brothers. They actually grew up together. So you're not going to compete against the guy that you grew up with literally, like you're going to compete against the guy that you don't even know from Adam. So I think that's a big part of it because these guys are together so much through the ranks that when they get to the highest level, that's why these European guys come over here and they're the competitive ones because they don't know these guys.
Well, over there, they learned that it's a job earlier too, though.
That too, but I'm just saying, like they don't know these guys.
14 years old, and yeah, it's a mentality over there to where they got to get out of they. You know how we talk about most guys here want to get out the hood. Over there, everywhere they're at is the hood. Let them tell it. That's how they treat basketball right now. Is a hood over there. So they trying to get to America so they can, make these kind of the millions of dollars that everybody making over here. So, and they're more serious about it. They don't have stuff given to them like they do here. I think that's where a lot of the problems has come to these kids early age learn.
And you're right. That could be a great topic, though, man. I think we need to talk about that probably on the next podcast. But again, thank you guys. Paul, tell the people where they can find you on social media streets, man. Give me your handles, man.
All right, Twitter or X, Paul the Real Talk. The Real Talk Nation on Instagram. Paul Miranda on Facebook. I ain't hard to find. I'm in all the gyms, man. And I know a lot of y'all said, "Hey, man, I ain't been in gyms in a while." Wifey's back now. I'll be in them gyms today. So y'all gonna learn today. Big Daddy is coming back, and we're gonna be in them gyms, putting that lazy out on somebody, who need it and who want it. So again, I'm the Real Talk Nation. Pieces, deuces.
Appreciate you, Big Ken. Thank you so much for popping on the panel, man. Tell the people where they can find you in the social media streets, man. Give them your handles.
All right, y'all. Hey, y'all can catch me at Big Ken on Fire on all social media platforms as Big Ken ONFIYAH. I'm also on the Fire Session, one of the hottest podcasts in the world, Craig.
Yes,
in the world, we building something. We're doing something amazing. You know what I'm saying? We having fun. We got a lot of different topics that we discuss, man. A lot of different things that we cover. So if you are living on this earth, we're probably going to talk about something that you care about. So just tap in. We got a lot of episodes. I think right now we're right around 270 episodes in. So, you know what I'm saying? Get caught up. You got a lot to get caught up on. So find us on YouTube. Type in FIYAH session and we'll pop right up on all social media platforms. Go ahead and give us a follow and go ahead and share some of our content because you know what? We want to help you and you help us and we help each other. We're a community. We want to show love. FIYAH session.
sessions.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
we're on IG, we're on Facebook, we're on TikTok. I took down our Twitter page for now, but we're
Oh,
on all the other we're on all the other social media platforms.
okay, I'll find
Yeah.
Gotcha. And we'll also put it in the link in
you.
below
Yeah,
so you guys can click there as well.
yeah.
Boogie Boogie Bob, man, my guy, been rocking with us since the beginning. Tell the people where they can find you
You
at
can
on these
find me
social
at
media streets,
Boogie
man.
Bob. You can always find me at Swish for real.
Swish for real. Let's go. Let's go. Appreciate it. And guys, you can always find me here on Swish for real. I also do my thing, the movie thing. Big Ken's been helping me out a lot, man. I appreciate you, man. Everything is moving smooth and slow. So we getting there. We're getting there, trying to get everything done fastly so we can start on the next film, but we're keeping it. And Paul's daughter is both your daughters are in film, so give a shout out to your daughters real quick, man, and we can
Yep.
close it.
Love you, babies. Love you, girls. Ariel and Alexis, Miranda. We love you. Hey, don't forget about the clothing line.
Oh yeah, RKB Collective on IG.
Just hoop,
Give us a
bro.
shout. Yeah, just bro, and we can just give us a subscription and follow. And yeah, once we drop that stuff, we'll have it over here too, so you can guys sit here, man. Swish for real, baby. We are out. Peace.
Throw your K.